Hello friends, Snapfire main here, bringing you another Dota 2 video on behalf of Dota Alchemy, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how Zai plays Snapfire in the first few games of patch 7.23, so essentially what his professional take is on how the hero ought to be played. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's take a look at the skills and talents that Zai went for in this game on Snapfire. Now normally, for this part of the video, I would use Dota buff, but unfortunately, this hero just isn't in their codebase yet because the patch is only 2.5 hours old. So we're going to have to use the in-game client for this part, which is okay. So first, Zai went for a point in Snapfire Cookie. He left this at level 1, choosing to max out Scatter Blast first and then maxing out Lil Shredder. I imagine this is just because it's 100 mana all levels. The impact stun duration doesn't increase that much per level. The impact damage doesn't increase that much. In fact, these other abilities increase just as much when it comes to damage, so if not more, so why not max these out first? And if you look at the hop distance and impact radius, it's the same at all levels. This is a good 1-point wonder spell. So he goes for this first because, of course, the stun and the ability to jump away in the laning phase is going to be very useful, especially as an offlaner. Maxes Scatter Blast first. This ability, he uses it to farm, he uses it to push creep waves. He seems to just perceive this ability to be a very good low mana cost, low cooldown nuke. Also has this movement slow. So this is generally Snapfire's best ability to max first, it seems. After that, maxes out the Little Shredder. This is an ability that gets better as the game progresses, especially if you build this hero as a pseudo right clicker. If you have these two abilities with a lot of levels in them, this hero does a massive amount of damage. It's very difficult to deal with and probably needs to be nerfed. You go for Mortimer Kisses every single time that you can. Of course, this is an ultimate ability. This is very typical. Talents, Zai went for 20 movement speed, then went for the 60 Scatter Blast damage. Then after that, he went for Lil Shredder, uses your attack damage. This makes Snapfire scale into be kind of a right-click sort of hero. And then at level 25, he went for Scatter Blast, applies a 3-second disarm. I mean, this ability is already incredibly broken, and with the disarm, it's incredibly hard to deal with this hero in team fights. In terms of starting items, Zai built 1 Tango, 1 Salve, 1 Mango, 2 Gauntlets of Strength, which are excellent on this hero because they boost her attack damage since she is a strength hero, and then that's going to make her a little bit tankier into the laning phase, as well as this builds into a Soul Ring, and this hero has damage on every single one of her abilities, and they are within the a relatively low mana cost range, such that 1 Soul Ring charge can give you 2 abilities. So if you get a Soul Ring, you can spam out your abilities and farm as much as you want on a hero that scales incredibly well into the late game. Next, I want to go over the laning stage at 2 to 4x speed and just cover the moments where Zai does something a little bit different on this hero compared to regular laning on, any other offlaner. So laning is relatively normal up until a specific moment where, there's this battle around the creeps, trying to get denies, using abilities to get range creep blast hits, pushing and pulling, things like that. Very typical up until this moment here. And this is where it kind of dawned on me that this hero's probably gonna get nerfed. This hero's probably broken. So Zai is just chilling on the creep wave. He's saving his abilities. He doesn't know what he wants to go for. He might use this for a kill, might use this to push the wave or to also get a kill. It doesn't matter. He's just chilling on the creep wave, getting last hits like any other core would, but you see the ping come out. So he pings on the enemy heroes, and he says, okay, I can use this cookie on you, and you can set up your stun without me even being in the area. So the enemy team has this false sense of security because the core is sitting on the creep wave, and this is what differentiates this hero from a lot of other heroes in the offlane, is that she can be sitting here on the creep wave and still she is a kill threat with this Nyx assassin. So you're kind of both helping this Nyx play over here and zone and get a kill while also farming creeps, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So take a look at this. So he pings and then he presses the cookie, which jumps the Nyx, giving him the setup stun. They have the slow, and they right-click the Luna to death. So that was interesting to me, just because Zai didn't have to commit himself to the kill. It's just the support chilling there and seeing if a kill is going to happen, while Zai can just farm the creeps. And that's a really nice thing for a core to be able to do, to be able to simultaneously farm creeps as well as have kill threat with your support. So that makes a lot of sense considering he's got a Nyx Assassin in his lane. Laning kind of goes normally, using, as you can see, a lot of spells to secure last hits. This is a pretty typical thing on any offlaner. Bounty spawn, they walk over and kill the Grimstroke. Now they have catapults. You can see that now with the catapult wave, Zai is pushing it with the Q because he wants to try to get as much pressure on the tower as possible. I believe that probably they would siege with that catapult if the Grim didn't go for that kill attempt on Zai. Unfortunate that he can't go pressure, but, you know, it happens. Set up another stun on the Grimstroke. Unfortunately, they kind of overplayed their hand. They, you know, I mean, this is a brand new hero, so they probably, both of these players don't really 100% understand its limits. And now we can see it gets to the point in the laning phase where Zai kind of plays similar to a Sand King, where he cuts the wave on Snapfire, and he pulls to neutrals and starts farming neutrals. Now, this is a pretty typical thing on a lot of offlaners. It's interesting to see him doing it on Snapfire, just because you can't be absolutely sure what heroes can do this. But if you can do it, you get incredibly farmed. And then Zai kills the Pangolier, who's coming bot to try to respond to this push that's happening. And the push is happening because he's cutting the wave, and as you can see, he goes back and he cuts the wave again. Look how much damage this ability does to the creeps. This is probably one of the best creep cutters in the game until this ability gets nerfed. And I think this is a big reason why this hero can be played as a right clicker, because you're gonna get so insanely farmed if you transition to be this kind of creep cutting core like an Axe or like a Sand King in the offlane. So this is less of a Snapfire thing and more of a post-patch 7.23 thing, but at 10 minutes, Zai immediately heads over with his teammate to the Outpost. They secure the Outpost, the enemy team responds with 4 heroes. Zai uses the ultimate ability. Unfortunately, I believe he dies eventually here. There's this big brawl that happens, but what I found most fascinating, of course the enemy team is kind of feeding to try to kill him. He dies. It's a little unfortunate. You can see that he moves his camera towards the top outpost to see that that's secured, and then he spam pings for his team. Hey guys, go get this outpost, go secure this. And then finally, they walk over after he kind of spam pings it. So I just find that interesting that Zai took a look at the patch notes, and he clearly, in his professional opinion, puts a lot of value on securing the outpost. So at about 12 minutes, Zai TPs towards the top outpost and proceeds to push this top tier 1 tower. Also, I don't know if this is supposed to be possible, but he used Fire Snap Cookie on the outpost. I don't know if this is supposed to be in the game, but, you know, I mean, I guess it is. I guess it is in the game. Anyway, he TPs towards the top tower. They have the entire team up here, almost. And he just uses the ultimate ability off cooldown. This ability is so incredibly good. And you want to get active with it. I mean, 50 burn DPS, 175 damage, 8 globs. You're doing over 1,000 damage with this ability. So you basically want to use it on every single possible cooldown. I would say that this is very similar to the Mars ulti when it was just added to the game, where it's so good that if you use it, you're going to win almost any fight. So until this hero gets nerfed, I would definitely recommend trying to fight around this ultimate. It's incredibly good. So the build that Zai does in this game is he goes for Soul Ring, into Bracer, into Boots, into Maelstrom, into Boots of Travel, and he spends his entire game pushing out side waves, which makes a lot of sense because you have other heroes to farm neutrals. I know that a lot of people are going to be very tempted in this patch to hit neutrals to try to get these items that come from the neutrals, but in order to secure those neutrals, you're still going to need to have these lane creeps shoved out, and this makes a lot of sense to have an offlaner who's just building into Boots of Travel and running around, pushing these side lanes in so the enemy team has to respond to them, and then your team can farm these neutral creeps, and if they need to give you an item, well, they can, because the items are fully shareable. So Zai spends all of his time pushing out the side lanes and letting his team farm those neutrals. As you can see, Roshan happens. He presses the absolutely broken ultimate ability. Look at the range on it. What is this? What is this ability? Look at the range. That's like 3 screens, man. People are complaining about Morph Shaker being 4 screens. This one's 3. Come on, that's an exaggeration too. Morph Shaker's not 3 screens, it's like 1.5 at most. Anyway, yeah, this ability, very similar to how you would play like a Pugna, a Leshrac, a Batrider, get Boots of Travel, get Maelstrom, and just shove lanes and allow your team to farm by creating map pressure. Next, I want to take a look at how Zai plays team fights on this hero. It's honestly relatively simple. It's just one kind of basic principle that he seems to follow, and that's that he focuses really heavily on getting the Mortimer kisses off. If you look at all of the abilities, they're all damn good. I mean, this is a new hero, right? These abilities are going to be unbalanced. They're very strong. But this one takes the goddamn cake. It is amazing. So Zai looks to, a lot of the time, stand in trees and not be the one initiating. A lot of the time, offlaners are the heroes that run in and they get fights started. But he lets his team do that. He's got an Ursa. He's got a Nyx Assassin. He's built in this very magic damage kind of way. And he just gets the ultimate ability off on the important target. Once he sees that he's killed the primary focus of the target, he uses his ability to hit the backlines. And I mean, once again, if you look at the range on this ability, let me click it here. You're perfectly able to hit the backlines with this. I mean, it's so huge that I can't even get the circle on the screen. So, yeah, I mean, backline focus, a pretty typical concept, but the most important thing is that Zai stands in trees, he waits for the initiation to happen, he doesn't really force things, and he just focuses on getting off a good Mortimer kisses for the fight. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video.